Hello everyone, welcome to another yoga session. Yoga for runners or for walkers or for people who just want to stretch out their legs, whatever, right? All good. Okay, so you might want a strap or a tie or a belt or a towel, something like that. All right, otherwise, let's get started. So we're going to start right in our cobbler's pose. So we'll bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees come out wide, and then bring your hands to your ankles, your shins, something like that. Right, sit up nice and tall, take a big breath in, breath out. And then maybe you just kind of start to rock the knees up and down a little bit. It doesn't have to be a big movement, but just kind of finding that little bit of movement, finding a little bit of opening in our hips. And then either stay here, keep on finding any movement that feels good, or bring your left hand behind left hip, take your right hand to the right side, and maybe very gently push away. It doesn't have to be a lot, right? Nice and gentle. And then just switch sides. So right hand will come behind the right hip, left hand will come to left thigh, lightly pressing away. And just breathing, right? The bigger the exhale, the more kind of room and release you will find in the body. And then just come back through center. Okay, so from here, that left leg will stay about how it is. We're just gonna swing that right leg out, right foot out. So we kind of have this staggered position. And then you can always bring hands behind your hips for a little bit more support. We're just gonna pay attention to that right hip. So we'll pull that right hip back a little bit and then just roll it forward a little bit. So just a little bit of movement through that hip. And after a few of these kind of rolling motions, maybe make the motion a little bit bigger, really press that right hip forward and then pull that right hip back. So let's just do that a few more times. Let's do one more time. Hold it here. So really press that right hip forward, hold it, feel that in the outer hip. And then come back through center, bring that right foot back to cobbler's pose. We'll grab onto the shins, inhale, sit up tall, and exhale to fold over the legs. Just for a moment, maybe you let the head drop, take a big breath in, breath out, rising back up, and then hands come behind the hips. We'll just shift that left foot outside, okay? So again, check in with the body. Notice if one side feels tighter than the other, all good. And then start to find that little hip roll. So we'll pull that left hip back and then a little roll forward. Make the motion small at first, perhaps, right? And then over time, get a little bit bigger. So this is really good movement, especially for our runners, because running, walking, most of our day-to-day activities tend to be very repetitive motions that work your hip flexors, but don't necessarily work laterally, right? So we're not working at the sides of our hips. So make that motion nice and big. We're just gonna do a few more here. So finding this kind of side-to-side motion, press left hip forward, press, 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 is gonna really improve your running game. It's really gonna help with the strength of your hips. All right, just come back through center. Let that left foot come back to the right. We'll sit up nice and tall. Take a big breath in. Breath out, fold down. And then just inhale to rise back up. We'll come to our tabletop position. So coming to all fours. And then just tuck your toes under. Send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. So your feet are about hip distance apart. Your knees can still be bent, but then just pedal out the legs. So you can start to stretch out through the calves, stretch out through the hamstrings, maybe even all the way up into the glutes. Take one more big breath in here. Breath out. Then let the knees come back down to the ground and bring that right foot in between your hands. Okay. So right foot comes in between the hands. You can always have your hands propped up on something, pillows, books, a block, whatever, if you so choose. All right, then we're just gonna walk that left knee back a little bit and lift the heart so that maybe it's not resting directly on your right thigh. Roll the shoulders back, press your hips forward, take a big breath in, breath out. low lunge, right? Big opening for your quads, for that hip flexor of the left leg, but then also nice stretch for your right hip as well. Hold it here for one more big breath in. Breath out. And then we'll shift the hips back for half splits. So that might mean that that left knee has to go back a little bit further. And then that right leg goes towards straight. You can keep a slight bend in the right knee. And then once again, either stay up on fingertips, flex the toes, the right toes back towards your face, take a big breath in, and then breath out. Maybe you fold down, right? But pay attention. So if this is already a big stretch, maybe you don't need to fold. Pull that right hip back, left hip forward, square off through the hips. Take a big breath in, and then let it go. All right, we're gonna flow back and forth between these two poses just a few times. So on your inhale, we'll shift forward to that low lunge. Maybe that left knee follows, comes up a little bit further. Roll the shoulders back, and then exhale to send the hips back half splits. Inhale, forward, low lunge. And then exhale, back half splits. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, forward. Exhale back. And then just inhale forward and we'll switch sides. So we'll send that right knee back to that tabletop position. You can kind of sway the hips a little side to side if that feels good. And then just bring that left foot forward in between the hands. Take your time setting up, right? So that left knee's over the left ankle. The right knee maybe walks back a little bit more if you so choose. And then press the hips forward, roll the shoulders back, lift the heart. Take a big breath in, breath out. Just stay here for a moment. Right, trying to find a little bit of a lift through the core, a little bit of lift through the chest. Take a big breath in, breath out. Half splits. Inch that right foot back a bit. Let that left leg go towards straight. And then your hips are still over that right knee. Okay, from here, fingertips. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, maybe you bow forward. Just stay here, breathing, seeing if you can relax a little bit. Take a big breath in, breath out. And then 3 breath cycles of just finding that movement between the two poses. So we'll inhale, come forward to that low lunge. And then exhale, half splits. Inhale, forward, low lunge. And exhale, half splits. One more time. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. And then inhale forward to that low lunge. Make your way back to tabletop. Bring that right or left knee back to the right. Maybe shake out the hips. We'll find our downward facing dog one more time. So we'll press the hips up and back, pedal out the legs. Right, you can kind of press the hips to one side and then the other, finding just a little bit of a twist. And then bring the knees down. Right foot comes forward again, but this time outside of that right hand. We'll find our lizard lunge. So you can walk that left knee back a little bit more and then stay on fingertips if you so choose, right? If you do want a little bit more, take a big breath in. And on your breath out, maybe you start to bend the elbows. If you're feeling extra crazy open today, maybe the elbows come down towards the mat. Right, but not necessary. You could stay nice and lifted, or you could even have a pillow or blocks underneath of your forearms. Take a big breath in, breath out. Rise back up to fingertips if you're not already there. Walk your left hand off of the mat towards the left, and then take your right hand to your right side. So you'll start to press the right knee open, but let the toes go with it, right? So you're kind of shifting to the outer edge, the knife edge of that right foot, right? Roll the right shoulder blade back, finding a twist, finding a big hip opener. And now either stay here or maybe you start to reach back for that left foot. So you can see about bending the left knee, drawing that foot in. This is where your strap might come in handy, right? So if you've got that strap, this is a beautiful quad stretch. So maybe you want to grab that strap to give it a bit of a try. So you will loop your foot with the strap. Right, then from here, you can just start to pull the foot in, and it doesn't have to come that far for you to feel a really big quad stretch, right? And then you can always flex the foot to feel even more of that quad stretch. Okay, so wherever you are, just breathe. Take one more big breath in, breath out, release that foot. If the strap's around your foot, you might have to kind of untangle yourself for a moment. And then since you kind of know what we're doing, we'll do that on the other side, right? So we'll bring that right knee back to tabletop, and then we'll step that left foot forward outside of the left hand. Okay, walk that right knee back a bit perhaps. And then inhale, find length, press your hips forward. Exhale, stay here, bow down, bend the elbows as much or as little as you would like, and just settle in for a few breaths. All right, see if you can keep the breathing nice and steady. Take one more big breath in, breath out, return to fingertips. If you are not already there, walk your right hand outside of the mat a little bit to the right, and then take your left hand to your left thigh. Start to press that left knee open and roll to the outer edge of that left foot. So flex that foot a lot, right? The more that you flex your foot in this position, the more that you will protect your left knee. So if you do tend to have any knee sensitivity, this will help, right? Flexing that foot, being really strong. Take a big breath in, breath out. Then either stay here or grab your strap, or maybe you don't have a strap and that's okay. You can just bend that right knee, see if you can pull the right foot in closer to your bum. Maybe you can grab it with your hand, or maybe you come out of the pose a little bit, set up with your strap, loop it around your foot, and then come back in, right? Just pulling that foot in closer to your bum. Big, huge quad stretch, right? So be here, breathe. Take one more big breath in. Sigh it out. And release that right foot down. Bring that left foot back, the left knee back to our tabletop. Whew. Okay. And then just find your child's pose for a moment. So maybe you bring your knees together, right? So if we open them up as wide as the mat, we'll work into our hips, but maybe we actually release the lower back for a moment. So bring your knees together. Big toe mounds touch, belly rests down, and then bring your hands down, stack the hands. Maybe you rest your forehead down on your hands. Just take a moment, take a big breath in, breath out. And then rise back up and find a seat. Straddle pose, right? So we'll straddle the legs. Nice and wide. Feel a big stretch on your inner thighs. Sit up nice and tall. Take a big breath in and then breath out. Okay, so from here, we're just gonna find a little bit of kind of reaching and stretching with the upper body as well. So bring your left forearm down towards that left thigh, or maybe left hand down to the floor. We're just gonna inhale, sweep that right arm up and over, reaching towards left toes. And then inhale back through center. We'll switch sides. Right arm comes down, left arm reaches up and over. And then inhale through center, exhale, right arm reaches. We'll do that a few more times. So inhale, center, exhale, left arm reaches. And then right arm, left arm. And then just inhale, come back up through center, sit up nice and tall, and then either stay here, just flex the feet back, or if you want a little bit more, maybe you start to fold over the legs. A little, a lot, up to you, whatever works in your body this morning, right? Then just take a big breath in, breath out. And then rise back up. We'll slide the legs together. I'm going to face sideways to you. We're going to bring the hands behind the back and walk the feet in. So you might have to make any adjustments here, and that's okay, right? So I'm actually going to take my right foot out a little bit further, and then I'm going to cross my left ankle over my right thigh, let the left knee fall to the side. Then if I want more of a stretch, I'll just kind of walk that right foot in a little bit, or I'll even walk my hands in a little bit and roll my shoulders back. Right, big stretch for the hip. Take a big breath in, breath out. And you can always kind of just rock the legs a little bit side to side to explore, right? Some angles of this stretch will be more intense or will be in different areas, right? So it's always kind of interesting to see what's going on. And then we'll just switch sides. So we'll maybe send that right foot back out a little bit more. Release the left foot, and then just switch. Right ankle crosses over left thigh. Maybe you walk the legs in closer to you, or walk the bum closer to the leg, right? Whatever kind of works. And then just sit up tall, roll the shoulders back, lift the heart. Breath in, breath out. Right, just breathing, relaxing, maybe the eyes close as we start to slow everything down. You could rock the legs, the hips a little side to side. Take a big breath in, breath out. Come back through center, release that right leg down, and then just lay onto your back. All right, one last stretch here for each leg. So we're going to extend the left leg out long, draw the right knee in, and then take that right knee across the body, extend that right arm out to the side. Just take a big breath in, let it go, relax. And then come back through center. We'll just switch sides. So let that right leg extend out long. Hug left knee into the chest. And then bring left knee across the body. Supine twist. Left arm out to the side. Maybe you look over the left shoulder. And take a big breath in. Let it go. And come back through center. Let that left leg go out long. Let your arms relax by your side. Just kind of feel, notice the body. And then maybe you stay here and you rest, relax for a little bit longer. But if you are ready to move on with your day, then move on with ease, right? Go with a little bit of quiet and stillness. Thank you for joining me. Let's take one more big breath in together. Let it go. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.